That's the team that plays to win for you and me.
Welcome back, Shimboners. On today's pod, we will be reviewing a really disappointing performance against the Dees, a game that we were going in, even with a couple of outs, thinking that we were a huge chance in, and after about halfway through the third quarter, we're pretty uncompetitive. To help break it all down, go through what went wrong, some of the shining lights from yesterday's game, and just have a bit of fun is the Big Chief. Chief, welcome.
Thanks, Baz. I don't know how much fun we can have after that performance, but anyway, we'll try and have a balanced approach.
Well, for the boners out there who listen all the way through, they'll know that our worst performance, arguably, of the year against the Hawks game, it got real rogue and loose in the last sort of 20 minutes to bring a bit of light and a bit of fun to the pod. So we'll see how we get there. And right, we'll start with our usual start and go to the biggest takeaway. And I'm going to go a bit left field for mine. It's actually nothing to do with the on-field performance, but my biggest takeaway from yesterday is the North tax is real. Now, Michael Christian hasn't come out with a decision yet with the Tristan Sherry incident, but my God, I open up the AFL website, Damien Barrett, hefty ban, for Key Roo. The articles everywhere that he's going to get a huge ban. John Ralph's already talking that North won't challenge it. The decision hasn't even come out yet, Ralphie. The AFL media is so against us, just wanting to put Sherry away for 4 weeks, yet when it sacked Merritt earlier in the year, they were pretty quick to say, it's not about the outcome, rah. They just changed the rules for who it is, and their thoughts are obviously with Tom Sparrow. You don't like to see any player get knocked out, particularly cold and sort of in that crumbled position that he was, but football accidents happen. There was no malice behind it, but yeah, that's my biggest takeaway. At the time of recording, we don't have an answer on whether he will be given for 3 weeks or nothing, but good to see my man Kane Corns. Chief, he's very much into bat for the Big X-Man.
Yeah, because I didn't think there was much in it. I mean, he was knocked out cold before he hit the ground, but it's just, there was no malice in it, and they're going to go careless. Obviously, severe contact, that's the one that hurts. But he stumbled into it, and I'm so keen to defend X. I've even gone to the socials. Can you believe it?
I don't.
And
I won't believe it.
And on the socials, there's vision someone's put up, and I hope to God the North Lawyers have looked at it, let alone Michael Christian, where it shows someone, I think it was Melsham, pushing Simpkin.
Christian Salem.
Salem pushing Simpkin, who then pushed Sparrow, that made him stumble low as X is in the middle of trying to tackle him. Now, the North Lawyers are on the watch list. This is my biggest takeaway, right? Nothing to do with football. They've got an absolute perfect opportunity to get him off. To get themselves off the watch list. The North Lawyers have been on there for a while. They stuffed up Archer. They stuffed up PC. They've got to get my man off.
Oh, I like it. And
Challenge,
it's a big week down for them. We were hoping that we wouldn't have to go back to the tribunal, but we're going to forecast that we probably will be. So a big challenge for them. And the vision of Salem pushing Simpkin, who then pushes Sparrow.
And we've seen that work before in all defence, because you can't control what other people are doing. And he's come off a ruck contest, arm out trying to tackle, and he's got him high. And that's just unlucky. It's just football. And we see other teams use that. I think Danger used that a couple of years ago when he got off what was a certain suspension.
1 of 10.
Yeah. And
Cripps probably used that 100 times.
And it'll cost him a jacket. I mean, he half cost himself one yesterday because he got beaten by Gawn, but they've done the coaches' votes, and there's no way Gawn deserves 5 votes. He was serviceable, and he beat his man, but 5 votes, really?
Please. Right, let's talk about the game, because a rare occasion where both our biggest takeaways have nothing to do with the game. Our listeners desperately will want to know our thoughts, so let's start with the first quarter. And
I've got one. We don't, and it goes to the first quarter. We don't capitalise enough. We were watching it together, because we haven't watched it together for a while, and we dominated the first 5 or 6 minutes, field position, couldn't put a score on. Next thing they got it's 2 goals to nothing. And they go have about 2 inside 50s to ours about 8. We just dominated and cannot put a score on. And I don't know why, because we've got good forwards, but it's the connection between the mids and the forwards.
Well, the mids got soundly beaten. That's probably my biggest on-field takeaway. And then we've just got too many C- to B- footballers.
Well, we said in our preview the midfield was a worry, whereas normally a strength, but without LDU
And George.
and but more LDU we're a bit one-paced. Although George does have explosive pace out of the contest. However, George hadn't been in great form.
No, and that's a discussion we'll have a bit later on whether he comes straight back in. But I want to start with the coin toss. Because I said to you live, it was a debacle. He flipped the coin and then he picked it up, turned it round and sort of said, oh, yep, Melbourne.
Yeah.
Well, he didn't even know who called what. He didn't know how to read the coin. It was absolute shambles and we should have known that was...
We expected them to make good decisions.
Oh, no. But the first quarter, Finn O'Sullivan started really well again. It's becoming a trend for him. A great punch to get a fist in. His defensive efforts are fantastic and he's a sneaky chance for the rising star. He's coming late. He's playing some brilliant football. Colby McKercher, his ball use early. We do not look like scoring unless he or Stiffy Hardeman have it in their hands. But particularly Colby, like it's laser-like use. It's low, it's flat, it's changing angles, it's creating space for his teammates. He was fantastic all game, particularly the first half. He got sort of shut out of it in the second, but gee, he was on early. And our forwards must love seeing the number 10 blazing through the middle.
Yeah, he was awesome.
Another one who had an iffy first quarter was Griffin Logue. He took a great contested mark in the pack, then shocking use. And I think it only ended up in a behind for Melbourne, but it was a horrendous turnover. And I said to you, he's a Josh Walker. Now, for people who haven't been long-term listeners, that is in the Shimboners podcast Bible as referring to someone who needs to just be long down the line, know your limitations.
Exactly.
Like Charlie Convent, he's Josh Walker areas at the moment. But Griffin Logue particularly, like that's not your kick to try and take on.
No, he
missed it by a mile.
Well, explain what he did. He tried to kick it into the corridor, and Melbourne were guarding the corridor. And yeah, he's like Colby can get away with it, even though he had one bad turnover for the game. But he's doing that. That's his role. It's not Griffin Logue's role. Mm. And as you said, it's old man Walker.
What is Griffin Logue's role at the moment?
Stand on the mark. No, that's harsh. But he's. Well, we'll get into that.
Look, I don't think he was the worst yesterday.
No, but he's
certainly not in contention for the most prestigious.
No, and he's not living up to what he should be doing. He's performing below par, and that's why he's on the watch list.
Right, let's get to some other notes from the first quarter, and the big sort of talking point out of there was Will Phillips versus Keziah Pickett. I thought Will Phil did a fairly okay job in terms of at the stoppage. He's never going to be able to keep up with Cozzy. It seemed a weird matchup from the start, but the fact that they kept the matchup when he took him to the cage a full forward was bewildering. There's got to start to be a few questions put on Clarko, because what is going on there? Thinking that Will Phil, who's never played a second in the back line, can go down there with the number one sort of mid-forward in the comp, really. He's been on fire this year.
Yeah, well, he's too quick for anyone, but you think that Hardeman or someone like that would have to pick him up.
And I understand he was going from the midfield, but we've got to be better as a side to be able to transition.
Well, obviously we can't. You've got to have the opportunity. Maybe it was just too quick. The opportunity. Maybe Hardeman was out on his man, 80 metres away on the other flank.
Yeah.
So, I mean, give Cozzy and Melbourne some credit for actually arranging that and getting him straight to the cage. And I thought Will Phil competed as best he could. And
I'm not letting go Will.
I thought he was good round the stoppages, but he hasn't got the pace. I mean, probably no one in our team's really got the pace and the skill to go with him one-on-one in the forward 50.
But it was an interesting decision, and he very much led us off the chain a few times throughout the game, Cozzy. Missed some really easy shots by his standard, but I want to touch on a few more positives. I thought Jacob Constanti was cloned in the first quarter. He was everywhere.
Yeah,
half back, he was there. In the midfield, he was there. Half forward, he was everywhere.
I had him in the votes at half time. I thought he was good. And yeah, you've already mentioned Colby. PC was on fire. Looked like he was going to rip the game apart himself. And unfortunately, early in the second, he rolled his ankle or whatever he did. And that hobbled him. He was hardly sighted after that.
He had some missed opportunities as well, kicking into the man on the mark and just making simple...
Yeah, when we've got to put that scoreboard pressure on them, we had that period of dominance. And we had it again, skipping forward, we had it again in the third. We had a real period of dominance. And we couldn't score enough. We got a couple of goals, but we should have really put 5 on. And we couldn't. And then they got a couple of very soft free kicks, especially the one to Gawn. But he made the most of it. Cam Zerha couldn't kick from... It was a harder shot than both Zerha's points.
Yes, I agree.
Anyway, I'll skip
you're
way
getting
forward,
a bit forward, but I thought the forwards were presenting really well, led by baby boomer Cooper Harvey. My God, to our forward line coach, look what happens when players present at the ball.
He hit up well on the lead. PC can hit up on the lead with that electric kick from Colby. Who I thought JD battled really well. Got some reward. Didn't he kick 3 or 4? 3, I think.
Yes.
Anyway,
sorry.
Keep going. Yeah, JD, I thought he was good in patches.
PC took a great contested mark out the back where he just used the bench press
Yep.
on his defender. But I thought another good moment just from an experienced player when we're out. Quite often we don't give the release handball. We could play too stagnant. But I thought there was a moment where we took a mark probably at the edge of the square in our defensive end. The centre square, sorry, just to clarify that. And Parker just straight away gave it to Hansen Jr.
Yep.
Didn't even think twice about it. Because when you just give it too late, that's when the opposition has time to read it and close that space. So he gave it straight away. Robbie Hansen Jr. was able to get it going in our direction. And I thought the run and carry in particular in the first quarter was pretty good. It was just, as you pointed out, we just failed to capitalise, which is unfortunately becoming a really repeat occurrence in our footy side at the moment.
Yeah, and going on that, in the third quarter, Harry had exactly the same opportunity to handball to Cooper, and he didn't. He held the ball, hit a short kick, whereas Cooper could have run past. We had 2 one-on-ones, and they had separation deep forward. And I think it was before Finbar had been subbed off, so you'd probably back him in one-on-one if you gave him any sort of kick to advantage.
All right, let's get to the second quarter unless you've got anything else from the first.
No, I just skip it all around the game, as you know.
Paul Curtis had a huge tackle. That was the one where he hurt his ankle, but fantastic. Jack Darling, he was taking contested jukes everywhere, and quite often he gets a bit of a rubber chest from time to time, but no, he was clunking them.
Yeah.
Really impressed with his body work. Pretty much copy and paste this note every week, but Logue was giving way too much leg rope. He needs to be... You know how last year we mentioned on the pod that Aidan Core was a back shoulder operator, and then, funnily enough, he seemed to play like that. Not saying it was anything to do with us, but Griffin Logue needs that instruction. Because I think he's either confused about the zone or he's just a dumb footballer. There's no other alternative.
Well, there was one disappointing thing. I don't know if it was in the second, but we'll talk about it because you talked about how JD, great body work out in the wing, took a chest mark. And Logue got Melsham, just body him out of the way, where Logue had position.
No, it's worse. It was the last quarter and it was Fritsch.
Was it? Sorry, I've jumped way ahead, haven't I?
Fritsch is not your typical hard-nosed footballer.
Well, Logue could have 15, 20 Ks on him. He had the position. Just plant your feet, get some strength in your core, and take the bump, and you'll win it. Rather than get bumped out of the way, and he takes a chest mark. Anyway, that's just poor.
When Melbourne had the momentum, we were poor. There was another moment where Ed Langdon kicked a goal. It was over the top. We had 3 players up. Not one of them spoiled.
Well, they did, but they didn't get over. It was Foss and
I don't even
Hardman.
think they touched the ball.
Yeah, I went to the boundary and Fritz just kept it in, handball back to Langdon and snapped a goal. And so just didn't get the fist right through it, which we need to do. If you're going to have 3 go up and leave their 2 players both spare down, if you don't kill the ball, it should come back to bite you, which it did.
But yeah, it was a game of missed opportunities. We saw that in the second. But some things I liked in that second quarter. Riley Hardiman, when he gets the ball, his run and use is really good. I love the way that he can balance defence and attack. I would love a little bit more of the ball in his hands. Thinking he had 12 yesterday, but he makes them count when he gets it. And they're 100-metre plays, really.
Because he's got that penetrating bullet kick.
And something I saw yesterday that I haven't seen in a North Melbourne game in a long time, I'm pretty sure it was Colby McKercher swept round and picked up the ball. And Finn O'Sullivan, rather than thinking, I'll get a handball receive, get a statty, he laid a shepherd. And it gave Colby an extra 20 metres to run before using it. And that is selfless things. Like Melbourne, to their credit yesterday, they smothered really well. They played as a team unit really well. And they're the sort of things that we need to implement in our game and that the good teams do and we're just not seeing.
Yeah, they smothered at least 2 handballs
per quarter, I reckon.
Yeah, which saved them goals and turned it into attacking opportunities for them. One was from Wilfield in the middle. Another one in the first quarter was Tommy Powell. We had the last handball, we just had to get it over on the wing and we were out, but it got smothered. So we just got to be better than that. Forward handballs through the corridor. Like when we were on, we used the corridor really well and really aggressively, but a couple of times just missed handballs or handballs at the feet. Makes it difficult to pick it up, just slows you down, and you tackled, turnover, then they're gone. And then the poor old back line, when they turned over in the centre corridor, when we're attacking, so we're all running forward, you're just defenceless pretty much. You're going to have to be a bad error from them or a superhuman effort to halve the next contest.
Yeah, I agree. The third quarter, my man Cam, didn't he come to play that quarter? Man, he had the 2 costly misses, which you thought, we've shot ourselves in the foot. But then he kicked 3. So he kicked 3 goals too in that third quarter.
He was on fire. Like, he had done nothing till half time pretty much. But, we'll get to it when we do the Basti. But it was hard to find a 4-quarter contributor for us. But we had some really, really good, plays for a quarter, like he and PC. I suppose mostly forwards. It is harder to be a 4-quarter. You can't do that for 4 quarters, what Cam did in the third, but just like a bit more in the other quarters.
Yeah. Dawson was moved forward after Finbar was subbed, which was interesting, and we'll talk in a lot more depth about the decision to play the 4 key defenders in a moment when we finished our notes. But no shock to see that they ended up moving one of them forward. But yes, the quarter really was Zerha lifting the group, and the mids unfortunately still got smashed, and then a red time goals to Melbourne put us on the back foot heading into the last quarter.
I don't know if the mids got smashed in that quarter. Like, we had control. We had some good centre clearances in that quarter, and except for we just didn't make enough of our opportunities. I mean, Cam kicked 3, but we needed more goals when we had the momentum, because when it turned, and a couple of free kicks, that one to Gorns, that's not free.
No.
I'm pleased. I know it's 50, 60, 70 metres off the ball, but it is in front of the ball. They're the next potential target.
He's just soft.
How easy to go to the ground.
Don't do another Telstra ad, you bald fraud.
Look, I don't mind, Max, but it's a physical game. You're 6'10". You got no physicality. No, you got some fake physicality when poor old X is going to get hung out to dry for that. And then I think Jai decked him or dumped him. Like, he's not very physical, Max. No. And
we'll touch on Jai in a moment.
He gets a fair whistle, Max, for those sorts of things. I mean, that was not a free, and I'd be embarrassed. But good on him. He kicked a really tough goal and just turned the momentum.
We needed him to have a shot 20 out, because then he would have missed it. But just on Jai, really poor moment from him. I mean, a lot of talk about his game as a whole, but that moment where he gave away the 50-metre penalty in the third quarter, and to end the third quarter there, he's lucky he didn't give away 100, because then he floored someone who took a dive, but you don't put yourself in that position, especially as a leader.
Good umpiring, because they could see it was a dive. If not, if you'd have floored him properly, it would have been 100 and a solid goal. The first one, it was a bit late. I mean, that happened to one of our players, and there was no 50. It's just one of those discretion of the umpires, and they paid it. I mean, it's easy to pay him in the back pocket, isn't it? Because it doesn't end up costing a goal.
Right, let's get to the last quarter, and it was just, excuse my French, it was a shit show. It was embarrassing to sit there as a North supporter and just watch a team that, for years and years, even when they were flying as a premiership team, there was always the question, can they put scores on the board?
Yeah.
And they scored with ease against us. There were so many turnovers. It was an embarrassing performance. Easy missed handballs. Like even Luke Parker, shocking handballs from him in that quarter. Toby Pink getting lost. Making Melksham look like a superstar. We've mentioned
that matchup should be good for him. He's got him covered for height.
Melksham's not quick.
And weight, he's just on the lead, sort of. I mean, he can take a one-on-one contested, but against similar-sized players, Pink's got 4 or 5 centimetres on him.
Well, I'll tell you what, he's done the old media street after that game against Charlie, which, looking back now, I mean, Charlie has kicked a goal for about 6 weeks.
No.
Doesn't look that as impressive. I mean, he still did a good job, but...
Pink had an up-and-down game. It was more down because of the goals against him, but he had a couple of good intercepts, got a fist in a couple of times, so it wasn't horrendous, but it wasn't great. And since he's signed the 2-year extension, he hasn't been good.
No.
But so thank goodness it was only 2 years and not 5.
Yeah.
I think he can fight back.
Oh, I'm not putting a line through him. No. I'm just mentioning that it's funny. Dennis, I'm just thinking of how Dennis would...
Yeah, Dennis wouldn't be happy.
No. Come on, son. probably enough media for you.
Yeah.
Well, I've lost my train of thought now. But yeah, Dill Stevens had a really poor missed tackle as well. But the positive of that last quarter was Cooper Harvey ended up slotting 4. And fun fact for you, we kicked 12 goals yesterday. We only had 4 goal scorers.
Yes. Well, it's all the medium to small forwards.
Yeah, so Harvey 4, 3 to Darling, 3 to Zerha, and 2 to Curtis.
Oh, Darling's a key side. Well,
Nah, not
not
really.
a true key anymore.
He's a halfback flanker.
When he
now.
started, he would have been a true key at 191, but now you got to be 194 to be a third tall. Anyway, yeah, it was very disappointing. They just walked it down, didn't they? Too many goals and from turnovers. I mean, if we clean up the turnovers, I mean, they're unforced. If it was a tennis match, it'd be unforced errors killing you, wouldn't it? Just hitting it into the net or hitting it out
But we've been rebuilding for 6
under
years.
no pressure, unforced.
6 years we've been rebuilding. We should not be getting beaten by 6 goals against a side who hasn't won in about 6 weeks and has only had, prior to going into the game, had 1 more win than us.
Yeah, that's why it's disappointing, because you go in with high expectations, even though I wasn't as overly confident, mainly due to the 2 outs we had.
But
But then they lost May. I thought I almost changed my tip when I heard May was
Exactly.
out.
And we had Comben Parker and Darling coming in. So it's not like we had the experience back.
Yeah, of those probably only Darling. I mean, Parker was okay, but a few errors. I thought Darling was good.
Question without notice: who was the best defender for you yesterday?
Oh God. Oh
Well, I think Will Dawson looked the best out of the 3 tools.
yeah, well, out of the tools.
That's what I meant.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I agree. He got beaten a couple of times, but he also beat his direct opponent 2 or 3 times. So I thought he probably had just the better.
Right. So not as many match notes as usual, but it's just a dour. It was just negative. Like, just watching that last quarter, you just want to pull your hair out. You're thinking, I thought this group was past it. You know, we have the stretch of, again, similar to last year, we have a stretch of about 8 weeks where we look really good. We don't jag enough of them into wins. And the last 3 weeks has been terrible. Like the big loss to Hawthorn. I thought we actually played pretty well against the Dogs, as we mentioned, but we still lost that by 50 points. And then a really poor performance yesterday.
Yeah, 6 goals, and I mean they missed a couple. Cozzy, when he was in the first quarter, missed a couple of absolute sitters, really. So it could have been worse. Anyway, it's just not good enough, and I don't know where we go to. We've got a couple to come back, LDU, but I mean we're going to have injuries. Well, luckily we're not Essendon. Their injuries.
What it does highlight is, and there's a few keyboard warriors out there that go hard on LDU, and yes, you know, sometimes his ball use is shaky, but how vanilla is our midfield when he's not there?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, he's
I
clearly
thought
our
Harry
best.
played well.
So do I.
And Tommy Powell got a lot of the ball, but wasn't overly damaging. A lot of handballs.
Frog put a good point in our group chat. Like, he had 27 touches, and did you notice him? Well, he doesn't.
Well, I did, but I didn't think he had that many.
He's not damaging, is
No,
he?
he's... And I think he was probably more the number 1 midfielder for a while. But, yeah, all he could do was release a handball. It's a bit like... I suppose it's a bit like Caleb Daniel in the back line. You notice him, but how damaging is he? I think Tommy can be better, but he's not up to the number 1 midfielder standard.
No.
So that's probably more Harry yesterday, but I still want Harry forward. Because he's a true forward.
We'll debate that.
We
in a
will.
moment.
Well, not in that team, because obviously there was a hole there he had to fill, but when LDU comes back...
Yeah, I think you've got to... I agree. I'd have him... He needs to attend at least 5 centre bounces a game, though.
Yeah, that's fine. That's still playing.
I'm not saying he's a pure mid, but yeah, I agree. I think it's probably a 50-50 split, 60-40 forward, maybe.
Yep. Anyway, move on. I'm sick of talking about this game.
Right.
Move on to some questions or something.
No, we've got the Basti.
Oh, the Basti. All right, the most prestigious award in all of the AFL, the Basti.
Nice dramatic pause for TV there, but of course we're not.
Right, I'm going the new ball.
All right, geez, give it to yourself.
Yeah, well, you've had a fair bit of the mic this episode,
Yes.
which is fair because
'Cause
you've got all the notes.
And you're still flat, which
I'm
I
pretty
don't blame
flat.
you.
You know, I watched the game again today.
Yeah, I watched it again last night. That's how much I hated my
I
weekend.
still couldn't take many notes because it's just annoyed me. Anyway, I've given 5 to Colby. I thought he was electric in the first half. As I said earlier, no one really put in a 4-quarter performance or high-level performance. His first half was best on in the first quarter, probably first quarter and a half. He was best.
He had 20 in the first half. He was best player for either side.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Best on ground, not just best on for us. And the drive he gives, he had 1 turnover, which I think might have cost a goal. I don't know, but that's his job to take that kick, because if he's not moving the ball out of defence, it is so slow and boring. And I'll give an asterisk Hardiman. He doesn't quite get it enough, but he can be electric as well. But anyway, so we'll get to a debate probably later whether Colby and CD can be in the same team. And if they can't, if the answer's no, well, we know who we're dropping. Anyway, Colby 5. I've given Harry 4. I thought he was our best midfielder. The midfield got beaten at times. He was on Truck a couple of times when I first watched it and thought, Truck, but then he was actually on Oliver. He was on Track a couple of times at stoppages, but he was more often on Oliver. Pardon me. I thought, and his ball use is really good. His decision making. When he gets in the corridor, he can hit it out wide to the half-forward flank, find someone he can do it, kick up the middle and find someone. His vision, the game slows down a bit for him. I thought he was good. I've given 3 to Harvey. Now, watching it again, Harvey was pretty reasonable in the first half, but obviously his last quarter, kick 4, and it would have been 10-goal loss if we didn't have him. He kicked 3 in the last quarter. I'd only call 1 junk time. It was like after that X thing and the stoppage, but there's no junk time.
Got to play the whole 120 minutes.
CCC, there is no junk time. You're out there with the jumper on, doing your best the whole game, whether you're 10 goals up or 10 goals down. Now, too often we've been 10 goals down. Speaking of that, this game reminded me so much of what we've had over the last 5 years. Just cannot convert when we've got control and don't have control for long enough, and then they kick 5, 6, 7 unanswered goals against us.
And you watch the last quarter and you think, can this effing end?
Yeah, I know. Yeah, exactly. Anyway, so this is the best. Harvey 3. I've given 2 to Cam. Now, didn't do much in the first half. Only had 2 or 3 possessions. Was on fire in that third quarter and got us back in the game. Couple of dodgy goals to them. Sort of gave them a bit of space at the end of the third quarter. But he got us back in the game. He was electric. He looked like he was going to win it off his own boot. So he gets 2. And 1, I loved his game the first time I watched it, and I loved it the second time. But others
don't try and take him. He's my man. I love this bloke.
The problem, he was a 4-quarter contributor. He halved and won a lot of contests, a lot. He probably didn't have high possessions, but Finn O'Sullivan, I thought he was really, really good. Again, the game slows down for him. He will not take the first easy option. He'll hold the ball as long as he can. He's untackleable, as you keep saying, and find a better option. And I love it. I thought he was really good and probably unlucky to only get the 1. There's a few honourable mentions. I think JD was good. PC in his first quarter was fantastic, and Tommy Powell had a lot of the ball, but probably not damaging enough.
Right, I'll fire through mine. Pretty similar, but I'll go 5 to Colby. I mean, he set the game up. We looked like we'd score every time he got the ball. 4 votes I gave to Cooper Harvey, much like when that last quarter where a few stopped and dropped their heads a little bit. He kept trying. He led up at the footy well. Really liked his game. Please just keep him inside the rest of the season.
Could have kicked 6 because in the first quarter he snapped one. Well, not snapped, but he hit the post. And we had a loose over the top. We were probably a little bit critical. He didn't handball over the top and get a walking goal, but he should have kicked it from about 25 out. He was a bit unlucky.
The 3 votes I gave to Harry Sheasel. Probably unlucky just to get the 3, but...
Bit of Harry tax?
I
think when I watched it the first time, there was a bit of Harry tax, because it's unassuming what he does. We've seen it for 2 years, and...
You just go, he'll hit the target.
Yeah, you probably don't appreciate it until some of the other midfielders get the ball and they miss the target. So certainly on a rewatch, he was very good.
2 votes I gave to my man Cam. I mean, monster third quarter. Can never question his effort, even when he wasn't getting the ball. still just flying, creating a contest, happy with his game. And the one vote I gave to Jack Darling, I thought he presented really well as well and took some strong contested marks. So he got the 3 from me, and Foss was probably unlucky for me, and that's about it. And PC, who, big shout out through a friend, got a video of him wishing me a happy birthday on Saturday. So shout out to PC.
You and Cooper Harvey.
Yeah, same birthday.
He's turned 21 as well.
Well, not as well.
Well, you were 21
6 years ago. But yeah. Right, so let's have a look at the leaderboard. In 5th place, Nick Larkey on 34. 4th place, Luke Parker on 39. 3rd place, Harry Sheasel has moved down to 3rd on 49 votes. 2nd place, Colby McKercher on 51. It's getting hot in the kitchen. And our leader, who might be having a holiday, so it's going to get close, is Tristan Sherry on 78 votes. So we obviously hope that he doesn't have a holiday, but...
Shouldn't have a holiday, but I've got no faith in the AFL MRO and all the North lawyers.
No. Right, let's get into the list you don't want to be on, Chief, and that is the watch list, with some big weeks coming up from people both on field and off.
Yes, Bailey Scott was on there. He was a sub, so there's a bit of an asterisk for being the sub. I think he had 5 possessions. Yeah. He came on, in the 3rd?
Yeah.
Fairly early?
It was 9 minutes to go from memory.
Well, so almost halfway through. So he's played a third of the game, had 5. I didn't think he impacted at all, and being the fresh man on, you'd like a bit of an impact. So
I don't reckon, since the sub's been introduced, we've really had anyone impact. I think Robbie Hansen Jr. had 1 game.
Yeah.
But if you look,
Stevens, we had about 15 against Melbourne this time last year.
But it's not very often. It's probably twice a year, isn't it?
No.
The sub actually comes on and makes a difference.
The sub is our 23rd player, and they're probably in a lot of other lists. They're going to be the 30th player.
Well, unless you're Collingwood. Then you're just limping someone to break the game's record, putting him as a sub. Anyway.
True. So I'm going to give him a dash. He probably wasn't bad enough to get a cross, but he was closer to a cross than a dash for me because he just didn't have enough impact for mine. Griff Logue.
Now, 3/4 time, if you ask me this, I'd say he's been okay. Like, he's a dash. He's getting across. Well, I'm going to propose he gets across just for being so easily outbodied by Bailey freaking Fritsch. That was terrible.
Yeah. Weak ass effort, that was. I mean, it's just... I'll accept that if it was Shotgun Dawson, who hasn't played as much football. But when you played that much football, you've got to know how to use your key asset, which is your weight, your thickness, your experience. So, yeah.
He's 27.
Came over on a contract. I don't give a crap about contracts other than the fact that the length, they're tied, and they're not... He should be in our best players. Not be, are we dropping him this week? You know, he's... So it's been just disappointing. And pretty much his whole time. He got injured early, like in his first year. And then...
He looked okay in his first year.
Yeah, and I thought this would be good. But then since he's had that injury, he's hardly played...
Came back for 2 games
He's probably played a
last year.
handful of good games, maybe.
Yeah.
And you know, good.
Since
barely good.
Since
like
ACL, I'd say there's probably 1 game that he's been above average. Well, no, that's a bit harsh, but like good in the good category.
Yeah. He's never had a vote in the Bassey, so that sums it up.
Did last year.
Did he?
Yeah.
My memory's shot. I might have to put myself on. All right, Larky obviously didn't play. Cause injured.
Larky?
Yeah, he's on there. He needs 1 more tick to get off.
Boy.
Yeah. Well, before he kicked his 5 in the last 2 weeks, he'd had a dash.
Yeah, okay.
Because I think he presented well, but didn't really do much. Anyway, North Lawyers, this is a massive week for you. Hopefully we don't need you, because you've been Scheissenhausen, really. I mean, I've said it earlier, those two, the Arch and the PC, I think, a first-year lawyer should have been able to get those off.
I'd send a year 12.
Where's all the slow-mo stuff? Like, where's all the biomechanics? You got to spend some money, North, and actually is probably our most important player. I mean, he was beaten by Gawn in the ruck. It wasn't a smashing, but Gawn got the points.
Yeah, and
we had our best midfielder out, didn't help. But clearance is our number 1 weapon, and if they can nullify, like Hawthorn nullified fairly well, and they smashed us in the clearances. And Melbourne didn't smash us, but they probably had the better. I don't know what the stats are. But visually, they had the better of us. So, North Roy's, you've got to get him off. Someone's done the hard work on Facebook showing points, and they've got diagrams everywhere. They've done the bloody work for you.
There's an account on X and across other socials called Giant Roo. And I can't remember, something tells me it was a Jack Siebel one, but he went to work and actually got, they used it.
Yes.
So North, whoever fella on socials is, shout out to him. I'll find his name and give him props next episode.
Yep.
But, you got to use the fact that Salem's propelled Simpkin forward, that's propelled Sparrow forward.
And it's a football act, like trying to tackle, yes, and we can show where he was pushed, he didn't know, and he actually lowered his body, so he got him high. That gets everyone else off. We've seen since the Archer and PC, football acts are getting off or getting one a lot less. So some consistency from the AFL, which we never get, but it would be appreciated. And if not, North Boys, get to bloody work. Anyway, I've had enough of a rant. I'm on there. My phone's on silent. I'm going to give myself a tick. One more week of no bings, and I'm off.
You got Dawson didn't play, Fisher didn't play.
Yeah, Clarko's on there. I watched his presser. I wasn't too dissatisfied with it. You're not happy?
I'm not giving him a tick.
I'll give him a dash. I said I wasn't too unhappy about it.
Well,
I watched the presser. I want answers.
I'll give my reason why in a minute.
All right.
Keep going.
And Daniel's on there. I'm going to give him a tick.
A tick?
Yeah. He had a lot of the ball, and I know it's not a stat thing, but I didn't think it was bad.
No,
I didn't think it was bad.
I didn't think he was in our worst 10 yesterday.
No, neither did I.
Right, I want to add the selectors on the watch list because whoever thought that against two Melbourne key forwards who are inexperienced and barely played together, whoever thought playing 4 key defenders was a good idea, you're on the watch list.
Yeah,
because we were as slow as a wet week unless Colby had the ball coming out of defence.
Yeah, well,
Hardiman, but he didn't get a great deal of it, unfortunately.
No, I'd like him to get the Daniel possessions.
Yeah, that's another thing. Daniel, if he's to stay on this side, which will be a controversial point, he's got to at least give half of his kick-ins to Hardiman.
Yeah.
Because Colby takes a fair share, and Daniel obviously takes some when Colby's off, but they've got to start giving more to... I want the ball in Hardiman's hands.
I agree because you got more options. You got layers because he can get over the first layer with that penetrating kick. He's a better kick. Well, he's a longer kick than Colby.
Yeah, and I don't have a segment for this, but it's a bit of a reverse watch list. I want to give a tick to an opposition player. Right, this is unprecedented on the Shin Bonus podcast.
Lucky I'm sitting down.
But I'm going to give a big tick to someone who probably should have been a Shin Boner, but Harley Reid.
Yes,
his work yesterday to tell Jason Horne-Francis they were in a bit of a scuffle, and he said 1 year and then cried to mummy. Back home to mummy. That was magnificent. Well done, Harley.
Yeah, good on you.
Right, so let's touch on our next segment. So episode 128 today, Chief. So our favourite players to wear the number 28. I'm taking the new Rock because you know how much I love this man. I'd get him into every podcast I could in our first 30. But Kane Turner. This is not a piss take, by the way. I loved Kane. Talk about someone who got everything he could out of his footy ability, never stopped trying, wasn't the most talented player, we know that. We would have loved him to kick more goals, but I tell you what, he had a fair dinkum crack every time he pulled on the blue and white, and he really epitomised what it is to be a shin boner and to give your absolute all Wayne Shimmerbush style throwing up at the end of a game.
Yeah,
Turner, small, 60 kegs when he debuted, had to go do exams the following week or something.
Boomer Harvey's sort of weight.
Yeah.
Was a jockey weight, and we saw him down at Boot Park, as it was there.
He put Rory Laird to sleep.
Yeah, in what would probably give you 4 or 5 weeks now. But
it'll give you about 4 years.
It was a fair bump at the time. It was a hard contest, and a little barely 60 kegs, but he didn't take a backwards step. And from that moment right there, he was one of our favourites.
Yeah,
and unfortunately, the heart was a lot bigger than the skill set, but he played his role. Every coach loved him. Well, we had enough of them, right? From Brad Scott through the Noble, Reece Shaw, they all loved him because they knew if you told him to run there and do this, he'd do it.
Coach's dream.
Coach's dream. Anyway, well done. Over to me.
Yes. You got Big Bad
Byron Pickett. Yeah, I just loved him. Talk about a hard man who actually had skill to go with it. Can you look his stats up for me? Because I've done no prep on this, but my memory of Choppy, he could play. Well, fun fact: we went the Frog and I went, and the wives went to Arden Street to buy some merch. And who was a young shy fella behind the cash register?
Oh, he served you.
It was Choppy.
Oh, that's
Didn't say
outrageous.
much. It was his first year at the club, and it just became a favourite. Not because of that. No, I got no discounts from Choppy. But no,
Choppy.
he played at half back and interceptor, run and spring and bounce. Think of Colby. Speaking
blokes.
of Colby, someone put their head over the ball and he got their second. They weren't getting up for a while. I can't think of the bloke's name, but from Hawthorn. You could probably YouTube that.
Was it Richie Vandenberg?
No, I can't think of his name. Sorry.
Anyway,
I've
got his stats here.
and he could go forward and kick goals.
So he played 120 games for North, 81 goals, 2-time premiership player, once with us, one with Port. He won Norm Smith at Port, but for us, he was an All-Australian. He was our first Rising Star winner, and he's in the Indigenous team of Essentials.
Yeah, and very good. As I said, it wasn't overly tall. Wouldn't have been 6 foot.
178.
Yeah, but could take a mark above his head as coming across. Interceptor. He was brave in the air and electric on the ground. Like the ground ball gets clean at pace with an ugly mung ball. Though all those handballs through the midfield we saw yesterday, no one could pick up. Choppy picked them up, no problem at all. Anyway, big favourite.
Yeah, and just on the watch list, before I move to listener questions, because I know there's going to be 100 of them about this guy, there's been a bit of goodwill between me and Jai this week that I'm giving him one more week. But, he needs to start impacting games more.
I thought his use was good.
His use was good. He's just not getting it enough.
Oh, he had a 21, I think.
Did he really?
Yeah.
Okay.
But he didn't notice him enough. But when he got it, he's playing half forward. I mean, he does get the occasional centre bounce, but he's more half forward. Like Harry would have had more CBAs than Jai, I would imagine, just on I haven't looked at the stats. But a few times coming through the midfield, he actually hit his target. Gave some run, hit his target. But I'd like him to hit the scoreboard if you're going to play that half-forward role. But
Agreed.
Not high impact, but not horrendous. A bit like Daniel.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Move on. We've got a million questions.
We do. We'll start with a voice message from a long-time boner.
Baz, Big Chief, Stoney here, long time boner. Went to the G today. Again, some positives. Coop, massive positive. Our sports bet account, Baz, good positive today too. They still underrate North, but we did it right out of it. But the result, I don't know. We just don't capitalise when we're in control. I think there's a little bit of also, and I heard Bailey Fritz say afterwards, I think sides just know that they can run us down. We just need to develop that aura where we play 4 quarters and they start to doubt us like Collingwood have got, and then that way we might get some easier wins. But at the moment, we're only going to get wins if we play the full 4 quarters, which is pretty tough to do. I think we're also carrying too many guys. They're just having 10, 11, 12 possessions a game. Costandy, love him, but he's got to kick goals. Hanson Jr. looks great in patches, but he's only having another 12, 13 possessions. Even Stiffy Hardeman today didn't have as many either. We had a bit of talent out today. I think next week, as much as I want to give Cassani a rest, I think you have to play him against Sydney, but we've got to get some of those small forwards in. What do you guys reckon?
Well, thanks for the question, Stoney. And yes, we both... we had a different bet on each, but both made some money out of North, which is good because there wasn't much else enjoyment out of the day, Chief. But to get to his question, well, there's a few different things to break down. I'll go first about the Hanson Jr. Yeah, I think it is time to have a look at Zach Banch or Geordie Payne. We've got too many players in our side who just have 8 disposals or something like that. I love the ball in Hanson Jr.'s hands, but what's he doing for the other 99 minutes,
Stevens another one. We've built him up and he's just fallen off, hasn't he? He's down around the mid-teens and not overly impactful anymore. He took a nice intercept mark.
Had a poor tackle attempt yesterday.
On track, yeah. Track's hard. But he did have him. If you got him, don't let him go. Don't throw the fish back.
Exactly.
Anyway, that wasn't really the question.
Talk about throwing fishes in, because Clarko will listen and Baldy Zach will be playing next week.
No, I think teams know they can get us. I mean, you go all the way back to Carlton which for 3 quarters was a fantastic game, and then we didn't know how to finish it. We should have won that by minimum 6 goals. We're, 46 up, 3-quarter time. Give them 2 extra in the last quarter, but we should have won by 6. And we won by 2. 11 points.
Yeah,
Like,
I know what you're saying.
Call it 2 goals. We went safe that whole last quarter, and if it went for another 2 minutes, they'd probably won. That's how bad we were going. So we don't know how to win. And other teams, therefore, know we don't know how to win. And worst of all, we know we don't know how to win. So you've got 44 players out there, to his point, who don't believe the game's over. And that's where we're at. And that's really hard to fix, our own mentality and theirs.
Well, your phone's just gone off, so...
It's on silent.
Watch list. Yeah, but it's rumbled on the table. The listeners have picked that up, Chief. But I will give you a slide out that we've just heard that Tristan Sherry's been offered 3 weeks, so...
That's the North Royals.
Really disappointing.
Well, I'm going hard on them. That is so disappointing.
That's bullshit. Let's just call it what it is.
Uh,
But I want to... Hang on. We'll get to this in a minute.
So if you got the ball... Richards, you can put your arm in someone's face. That's why Clarko went hard at the presser. And yet Sherry didn't have the ball, and got him high. Because the domino effect of him being pushed, someone else being pushed, and he ended up being pushed and going low.
Well, if the club don't challenge this,
I'll tell you what,
weak as piss.
It's weak as piss. I'll go back to a basic membership.
Yep. Oh, I like it.
No, I won't.
No.
But I'll tell you what, we'll have to have a GoFundMe.
Yeah.
We'll get a decent lawyer. Yeah, they're on the watch, the lawyers. We know we've gone into that. We're not going into it again.
No.
But, my God's sake, fight. Show some freaking fight, North Melbourne.
We're not showing enough on the bloody field, so let's show it off.
Well, he's the captain of the bloody CCC. If you're not going to fight for him, who are you going to fight for?
Exactly. Just on his point about Constanti, I agree. You've got to play him next week because he had about 85 fights in round 4 against the Swans. He hates them. Yeah. He broke Mills's bloody collarbone, nearly cost him the captaincy. I forgot about that.
Yeah, absolutely. But he needs to kick those goals. Yeah, he had a 25-metre shot. AFL players have got to kick that, let alone small forwards, because they're not getting that many opportunities. So you have to kick that. And Geordie Payne needs to go.
Agree. Yeah. If he doesn't play in the next 2 weeks, he might as well pack his bags.
Yeah. And can he play the wing? It's a smaller ground, the SCG, or it's wide, but it's short. So pressure forwards are going to be... We can probably play an extra one, maybe. I don't know. Robbie Hanson, get him out and play on the wing.
I don't even care if you put Hanson Jr. back to the sub and just drop Scott.
Oh, Scott's got to go.
Yeah, well, there's going to be a few changes, which we'll get to on the preview. But got a heap of questions here, guys, so thanks very much. We'll get through as many as we can. Matt Bates, is there any other defenders coming through that are any good? Pink and Logue, average at best. I think Dawson will be good, just needs experience, and Hardeman will be a gun. Keep up the great pod, guys.
Well, thanks for that.
Yeah, thanks.
I think Whitlock's the main one coming through. I think Callan Dawson, he's had his papers stamped. He'll be gone at the end of the year. Griff Lake's still contracted. He's not doing enough, as we've already touched on. Who was the other one? Oh, Pink. Well, Pink's got 2 years, and he's just a stopgap.
Agreed. Next one, Bo Hawkins, who says, I only listened to the first half on radio as I was travelling between Kings Canyon and Ayers Rock. I'm pulling a Chief.
Nice. On holiday.
Was the second quarter as dominant for Melbourne as the radio was putting across? Oh,
yeah, it was.
And we're lucky that they squandered some opportunities.
Yeah.
They was very lucky to get off the hook there a little bit.
Yeah.
As we mentioned. Nathan Granger has made a good point here about, do we lose this at the selection table? We've been on that. I've put the selectors on the watch list.
Too tall. And Finbar dropped a few, didn't he? Got his hands to a few balls, but dropped them. And to be fair, it didn't really look like taking them. You'd be clunking them in the VFL, but for whatever reason, he didn't clunk them. So I think it was good to sub him out when they did, but...
No, he did nothing. Let's just...
Yeah, and then Dawson going forward made us a bit smaller. But, I mean, Logue's not quick. Pink plays assertive and can be found out when we turn the ball over. It's not,
is that the
not necessarily his fault.
Because he wasn't playing assertive when he was playing well. He was back shoulder. And now he seems to be getting confused because he's playing in front, trying to find his opponent rather than trailing in and being able to get that spoil. So
yeah, we probably
that's-
played back shoulder on Curnow more.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, but
should he go?
they
back
didn't
to-
have a Curnow, did they? They've got a nothing forward line.
Or should he play on Van Rooyen and go back shoulder on him?
Probably.
That's what should have happened. Stephen Fenton's here put the solicitors are on the watch list. He's very up and he's obviously a regular boner because he knows all about how they're going to be under the pressure. Daniel Leeworthy's made a good point about the back line getting the brunt of supporters when the mids got beaten constantly. And he asks, Jai Simpkin needs to be dropped. Do you agree?
No.
I don't agree.
But
But if
I can see why people get frustrated with him.
But if we're a good side, the problem is when you want to drop everyone, you've got to bring people in. Now, if he was to be dropped, you'd bring in, say, Zane Dersma, whose supporters are all given up on. No,
Yeah.
I shouldn't. Select group.
Some of the keyboard
Yes, sorry, I'll
type
check
operators.
myself there. So, unfortunately, you've got to have people to come in.
Yeah, but everyone's entitled to opinion.
I'm not...
Like, if you think Zane's not good enough, that's fine. That's your opinion. I still think we've got to give him time. It's his second year.
And he didn't have a pre-season.
No. And he's got banged up shoulders, apparently.
Yes.
But when you're on the ground, we judge you as if you're 100%.
Exactly right. Right, let me get the next one up here. Having a bit of technology freezage.
Freezage.
Yes. Sorry, Dave O.C. Assuming X is suspended, who comes into ruck?
Well, CCC for mine.
CCC, he
I
won't
wish
be
it was CCC. The CCJ, I think, but he was out with illness, and we didn't cover the VFL. For those who don't follow it that closely, no game, a bye. On the league that's got 35 teams, they couldn't find one for us to play. Probably because 35 is an odd number. But yes, I think if he's fully fit, he showed a bit of enough form. I think there's Grundy too, so it's pretty handy. Pretty handy ruckman. He's in form.
Could be playing Jordan Sweet or someone. Would be nice.
Yeah, so I think CCJ.
Yeah, I think Teagle's no.
No,
He's not going to be on the list next year.
No, he's not.
Why? And
So I'd
to be
rather-
fair, there's no guarantee CCJ will.
No,
be.
but he's more advanced,
and he's
and
better
he's
form.
probably not a first ruck, but it's either him or Goad. And I think going against Grundy, he's pretty mobile. He's got pretty good follow up.
Goad's not ready.
No, I've seen Goad. Goad just hasn't quite got the ruck craft. He can give away a lot of frees, and a clever ruckman would draw them from him probably.
LDs _101. Caleb Daniel trade looking embarrassing. And then he's also said Phillips has to be traded. The young guns were good. Yeah, Willfield, what were your thoughts on his game?
I didn't mind it. It wasn't... There was some good positives. His ball handling was pretty good, pretty clean.
Yeah.
Around the stoppages, I thought he was good. Obviously, I mean, Pickett can make anyone look silly. And Gorn was winning the taps, which doesn't help. I don't think he gave any frees away, except for that one in the sort of coming out of the goal square.
Which was...
Well, on replay, you could see he dragged his arm a little bit, but gee, that gets not paid more often than it gets paid. I didn't think he was too bad. I mean, that's a horror matchup. We've discussed that, him in the forward line.
I think he looked slow because we didn't have any explosive mids in there as well.
And when you go for the trade, we're not getting anything for him.
No.
I mean, he was a number 3 pick. Well, his value's out to a 4th round at best. And
100% agree.
particularly seeing he's out of contract, so a smart club like West Coast, who are going to have the number 1 in the pre-season, could just walk him.
We can get him as delisted free agent. You don't even have to walk.
Well, that's right. You can as well. Well, we've got to delist him, don't we? I suppose when he's out of contract, he just becomes delisted.
We've got not many list spots.
No,
it's very tight.
That's right.
Troy Constantine or Constantine, pronunciation probably dodgy there. Who do we miss the most today? Larky, LDU, or Elmac? Great question, because they're all 3 big outs at different parts of the ground. LDU for me. Our midfield was just vanilla.
Yeah.
So one paced.
Well, they had 2 explosive mids in there, in Cozzy when he attended, and Petrucca, whereas we had none. So LDU would have at least given us some explosion out of there.
He would have nullified him, wouldn't he? A bit more than what we did.
Yeah.
Paul says subbing Maley out was not the right move. I've got to disagree with you, Paul. I think he was really struggling to impact in any way, shape or form, Finbar. And I love him. I think he's worth continuing with, but I think his development will continue in the 2s next week.
Yeah, he just needed to clunk some of those marks. I think he took 1 mark. but he only had about 3 possessions,
Yeah.
I think. Not that I look at the stats that much. But we do when we go looking for answers. I think he had to be subbed, but I'm sticking with him. But I don't think he won't play next week.
No. Lots of comments here about Cooper Harvey getting a contract extension. I'm pretty sure he'll be right to play next year with the current form.
Yeah, yes. They've got to play him the rest of the year, unless he goes kickless. But in current form, I can't see that happening, because he will find the space. That's what I like about him. He's a natural forward. So he will double lead. Won't just straight line. He'll get off the train tracks and curve his lead, zigzag, and find the pockets of space. And he's a pretty good shot from anywhere around 50. Pretty, he's not going to nail them all, but I'll tell you what, he'd be one of the top half dozen I'd pick if they were kicking for my sports bet account.
For your sports bet account. Kevin Frost, are Adcock, Patch, and Xavier Clark the right assistants for Clarko, or will he move on from them? Well, that's a hard question.
That is hard, unless you're in the inner sanctum. But
I'll tell you,
Patch
I think
has been
Patch is
there.
under a bit
Patch
of
has
strife.
been there a while. He'd be the only one who's not a Clarko appointment. So he's probably in the gun, and he's in charge of the midfield.
Which has been underperforming, fair to say.
And, Adcock's got the back line, but as we said earlier, the back line can be just a result of your stupid turnovers, unforced turnovers.
We'll fire through a couple here. So many to read from. Thanks so much. The North Merchant has to be time to debut bench. Hardly anyone front and centre inside 50, yet we insist on bombing it every time. Bench at least reads the play well when he's buzzy on the deck. Right here, right now, no notice. If you had to choose Bench or Payne, who are you playing next week?
Well, it'd be nice to play bench. They haven't got Papley and have a little tip rat type up there that could kick some goals. It's pretty hard because it depends if PC's. It depends how his ankle comes up. I'm going to go with Payne.
Well, I'll go bench. So
Okay.
a nice split.
I think we did that
bench
last
anyway.
week, too.
Yeah, I would have gone bench anyway.
Yeah,
I
okay.
think he's got more tricks.
Yeah,
than Payne.
probably.
JB says, we're just so far off the pace, it's embarrassing. Nothing's changed under Clarkson. Bottom 4 again, rinse and repeat. Well, I'll tell you, I was echoing the same sentiments yesterday at 4 o'clock. You're just so frustrating and...
We'd seen that horror movie before. That was like Jaws 10, wasn't it? Like, it was just the same old, same old. And against a team that we probably we don't rate.
No.
They're not the premiership team they were
They're 15th
4 or 5 years ago.
for a reason.
Yeah.
Here's one I want to get your thoughts on from Rick Wallace, because I know you've got strong opinions on this. Worst record in the modern era and the only side to ever finish bottom 3, got my numbers around the wrong way. Bottom 3, 5 years in a row. Isn't it time we get pick 1 or pick 2 as draft support, as every other club has done over the journey? Why have the club ruled out seeking draft assistance? Would love your take.
Well, I thought Viney made a mistake last year when he, about halfway through, he said we're not going to ask for it. And I understand why he did, because it took the heat off the club a bit. But it hasn't helped us. And what's the first thing your smart asses like Sam McClure are going to say if we went, oh, you traded out your first pick this year for Whitlock? They're just going to... And we did it all last year. Last year. We've only done the pod 2 years. We went through the trades and what other teams have got and just look at Gold Coast, and now they don't need help.
Look at
'Cause
Hawthorn
they're probably
before they won the flag.
Yeah. I mean, Pendlebury, he was a very free hit for them.
Luke Ball for
Back
St Kilda.
when, yeah.
There's
I
a
think
ton.
Rewalt Gaziski.
Yeah.
Every team's had them.
The problem
Carlton
was...
played for the Cruiser Cup.
Yeah, the problem was, right, that we should have gone harder. When they came to us and said, oh, here's a future second and a future third. No.
They gave us nothing. Let's see. Look who we've got out of it. Fisher can't get a game, or was borderline at best. Not a game changer. Logue, we've spoken enough about him on the pod. Not a game changer. Stevens had a good patch of about 4 or 5 weeks, but nowhere near a game changer.
Tucker will be off the list.
Tucker, just a stopgap. Who else? Do we get out of all the help the AFL gave
Oh,
us?
yeah, just a bunch of D to C graders.
Yeah, Matt Rao and Noah Anderson. I mean, take your pick. Which one Well, it would have been interesting. We talked about this off there because Gold Coast got picked 1 and 2. So 1 they took Rao, 2 was the one from the AFL, the gift. That was Anderson. Now imagine if they didn't have that gift and they'd picked Rao over Anderson. Imagine the hype because Anderson's
miles better.
Well, yeah, and Rao's been good, but Anderson's
He's next level.
Well, they're talking about Brownlow.
Well, he'll be top 3.
Yeah.
Heard it here first. Well, probably not first.
So that's the gift they got, and their record was about similar to us, but only for 1 year when they got handed that. But the AFL have their favourites, and North aren't one of them.
All right. Next up, the George, Tom and Harry show, and you will love this, Chief. His profile is a play on the Mark, Tom and Travis show.
Well, yeah,
Link with George, Tom and Harry. Love it.
Yep.
I better get into a question. It was about to scroll past. Can you mount a defence for Daniel to stay on the side? For bonus points, don't use the word leadership. Well, who comes in for him? That's the question. Well, when Elmac's back, and I'll tell you what, Daniel's lucky that A, Elmac's injured, and B, Archer's injured, because they'd both be in the side over him.
Yep. I question whether we can have Daniel and Colby both playing back. And I said that earlier in the pod, and I'd much rather Colby. Who comes in, Elmac? It'll be a big test whether they keep going with Daniel, because those 25-metre nothing kicks aren't doing it for me. What do you think?
Yeah, they're not doing it for me either.
Okay.
It's you could have Archer doing
I mean, it's safe, but we're going forward.
You could have Archer doing that. Like, it's not
Well,
game
yeah.
changing.
No.
It's safe, but he's still doing a couple of turnovers a game. So, like, I'd rather Archer do that.
He can turn.
And get Archer's defensive side of it.
Yeah, he can twist and turn well, but then his release kick's only 25 metres. And he always gets caught, the 15-metre kick that's 12 and play on, whether he's receiving it or kicking it.
Yeah. We'll do one more.
And, teams just set up for it. We saw it live against Hawthorn. They just let him have that 20-metre kick because they just set up down the line for the next bloke. So he's passing on the pressure of the next bloke's got to make the hard decision.
I like it.
I don't. I'd rather we.
Well, I like the call.
Yeah, okay.
That's how I feel. So it must be right.
Yeah.
David Brown for the last one. He says, I must admit to having a love-hate relationship with Chom, but have you ever seen anyone go to ground as much after a marking contest? And his head down grimacing after every second contest is infuriating. Well, he's playing hurt. That's as simple as it is.
Yeah, and he puts his body on the line. That's why he's in the CCC. And I thought he got some good fists in, but he didn't quite get the intercept marks that we needed when we were playing on a forward line that wasn't overly tall.
No, and we can't.
And the talls weren't experienced.
We can't expect him to play at the same level he was in the first half of the year. He's clearly playing very hampered.
But I agree with the comment, because every time we play, or we watch together, we say, he looks like he's been shot again.
Yeah.
Because he just, doesn't land on his feet a lot, does he?
No.
Like, doesn't.
But
he's putting his body on the line.
Monkey.
I don't know. He's one I'm happy with, like as a future rock in the back line.
Yeah.
So,
I've got you. Have you
or the
conceded?
forward line?
No. Right. That's about it. So yes, the AFL the notification came through as we're answering the listener questions that it is a 3-match ban that's been handed to Tristan Sherry, which is an absolute disgrace, and the North tax is well and truly alive. So very frustrating. No doubt lots of our loyal boners, listeners will be voicing their frustrations, as I will be, on social media.
We're going to have to go down to Arden Street and rattle the tins.
Yeah, so it's must watch this space. So we'll see.
Surely they're taking it to the tribunal. That's step one.
If they don't, they're going to have an enraged fan base on their hands.
To appeal it, I
rightly
think
so.
there's 10 grand.
Yeah, it is.
To appeal it.
That's what the article was.
Once the tribunal back up Michael Christian.
Yeah, so we've spent 20. Look,
But surely they can argue, North. PC, they've basically said we got that wrong. Laura Kane didn't come out and change it. Well, she's changed jobs now to get her out of that hot seat. And the Archer one, and there's, Richards got off with a raised arm.
Merritt
Who else?
had a bad one earlier in the year.
Let's get the video workers. Don't worry about the game playing against Sydney. We already know. Clarko's told us they're a great corridor side. So let's clog the corridor. Okay, let's put everything into getting X off in the next 2 or 3 days.
Well, it's a bit over the top, but I understand where you're coming from. But
I'm very frustrated with the AFL because you wait, someone come close. We've said this when it happened to Archer and PC. Come close to the finals, a Dangerfield or, heaven forbid, a Dacos or...
They'd have to actually try and apply pressure to do
Yeah,
that.
or someone will hit someone high, they'll be knocked out, and there'll be a reason why they won't cost them a final.
It'd be, it's a footy accident or something like that. even
Which
though-
I think this was. This comes under
Of course
that,
it was,
that
but-
category, especially when there's a domino effect of people pushing each other in the back.
How is he supposed to predict that
What's the second?
Salem will push Simpkin, who'll push Sparrow?
Can we show it all in normal speed?
Yeah, if they slow it down.
And then can we get a biomechanist or whatever they are in there? I've butchered that. And can we get
we're angry. Right,
the blood pressure's gone?
let's
through
go
there.
before we have a heart attack. Thanks very much.
Free X.
Free
Let's
X.
start the campaign.
Hashtag free X. I love it. Make sure you follow us on the socials to get your questions in. Send them to the shinbonuspodcast@gmail.com as well with your voice messages. Thanks very much. Make sure to subscribe on whatever listening platform you're listening to, and we'll be back next time.
And send your boner questions like Jason Stone did.
Yeah, shout out to Stoney. He's a good man.
We love it.
All right, until next time.
Can the Kangas.
Go Roos!
Good old North Melbourne, they're champions, you'll agree. North Melbourne is the team that plays to win for you and me.